Yep, we're now live now. We are live. According to everyone, we are live. Yeah, live.
Are we?
Yeah, well, according to this, we're live. I don't know if that actually means we are.
We're live.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel.
Yep. Yeah, we are live. Okay. So, how's everyone doing?
Yo!
Woohoo! Yeah, us. Ooh. We get these things out on time, all the time, right? We're always on time.
They used to be at like 3, so.
Yeah, I know. But our professionalism is amazing.
Did you just say professoralism?
No.
Professionalism.
I said like levelism, like at the end of it for some reason. It's like I said almost correctly, and then I fucked it up. Also, before you know, Travis actually takes us as host, I'm just gonna say that I am Blade. I'm just using the Otaku team as the hosting thing for the Google Hangouts. So
No, you know.
people.
No, you know.
Yeah, no. Listen, it's not the Otaku team hasn't become sentient again. All right, so
Not yet.
people are worried.
Not today.
Not yet. No, eventually it will. Once it will become sentient with its own thought process, and we won't even be able to control it. It'll just come to life. Anyway.
And we don't have our usual layout because Habit's not here.
Yeah, who's the one who's actually in charge of doing that?
Yeah, he's not here. So, welcome!
Boy.
Welcome back, everybody.
Woo!
We've got the original Clue, except from Habit,
Mm-hmm.
of course, as we just mentioned.
Yo. What's up?
Yeah, everyone just
What's
say,
up?
yo, what's up?
Yo, what's up?
All right, so let's just get straight into the first
Wow, so fast.
or question, whatever. Do you think animation is losing its spark? We'll start off with the professor himself.
Professor Anime.
Yeah.
Spit some knowledge to us.
Alright, I'll spit some knowledge to y'all. Yes, I do think the anime industry has lost its touch a little bit.
Nani?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, are we talking about anime in general? Or are we talking about like how it looks?
No,
like
I think
Well,
that's
just
in general.
In general.
Because that concept is in general, like including art, animation, etc. You can put all that in there in one giant bundle.
Yeah. I mean, it mainly seems like we are just throwing out series nowadays, honestly. While like a series can look good, at the same time, like the story and characters cannot all be there. And, you know, sometimes there's also the reverse thing. You know, a series is probably not executed well when it comes to the animation quality, but it has a good story. But due to the fact that some people can't handle the animation, you know, the series loses its touch. But yeah, I just think like when it comes to the anime industry nowadays, it certainly has lost its complexity in terms of storytelling. And it really seems like we are just being thrown cliche through cliche, cliche nowadays.
What'd you just say?
But yeah, honestly, that's my take. I can't really say much, but that's at least what I see nowadays. I mean, because back in like the 90s in anime, like there was more complexity to the series. Like you had Cowboy Bebop, Serial Experiments Lane, and all that stuff. All of them, all Eva, you know, all of them had like really a lot of complex nature to them when it comes to like philosophy, religion, and all this other stuff like that. But when it comes to stuff nowadays, it seems like we are mainly just getting shows just to get by. Like, honestly, I feel like a lot of anime is now coming out just for the sole purpose of keeping the industry alive, you know? So, I don't know. That's my take on it, though. But I don't know about you guys.
I would say just there's really nothing truly original anymore. Everything's been done. It's hard to it's hard to have something that's fresh and new and have something that you've never like seen before.
See, I slightly disagree with that, because I mean you could take a cliche topic and a concept and you could work it in a way that makes it unique and fresh. It's, you know, it's been done in a lot of
Yeah, but it's like nowadays it's very rare that you get a show like that. Like I'd say Konosuba is a good example,
Well,
like
no,
what you're saying.
Right. No, I'm not saying I'm not disagreeing with that concept. I'm just saying, but I'm disagreeing with the fact that you said that like the way you said it, because I feel like you could do it. It's just that do artists and animators and just I think studios in general, do they do that all the time? I think nowadays no, because at this point they really just want to pump out stuff that usually, like someone said in the comments, they want to pump out stuff that advertises for manga and of course light novels. So they rather focus on doing that, and it's like yeah, but are you making original content? Are you just, or you're not? What are you doing?
Yeah, they want something that's going to make them money, because back in the 90s we had a lot more anime original content. So
yeah, I think the fact that every season there's like more and more coming every season, they're not really giving the anime its full attention, so to say, because they're already like trying to work on the next thing. After they've done that, rushing to get to the next anime that they're making. We're getting like how many, like 30, 35, something like that anime a season now. And back then you probably got like, I don't know, 10 maybe, more, a bit more than that. I don't really know because I didn't get into anime that far back. But I mean, there's just so many different animes coming out that some studios just think, okay, there's a bigger project to work on next time, so we're just gonna do the bare minimum for one show and then go all out in another show and stuff like that. Like I think some studios do that, especially with the longer running shows. Say One Piece, for example. That's been going for a while, and honestly, I don't really mind the show because I like the story and stuff like that. But the animation is dreadful at times. I've said this many times, but some episodes will go all out, and then the next episode it will just be screenshots the whole episode. Like there's barely any animation going on. So it's just like I know you're probably working on other things as well, but you got to improve that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you. You can't use that as an excuse. Like
definitely
it's laziness. And the problem with that is that if you get I think a studio, when they get too comfortable with that, they end up making stuff like that all the time because people won't argue it, and that's one of the biggest issues. You don't see people really complain enough and talk about it. I think not more so here, because here we have a lot of people that voice their opinions and talk about that. But in Japan, I think they're so okay with just the way it goes that they never argue against. Oh wait, maybe we should actually fight to say, hey, we want different types of shows out once in a while, not 20 of the same verse harems in general.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you see like a bunch of those ones, because we're kind of more critical, I think, well, we definitely are, because some different animes, in terms of, the harems, reverse harems, sports anime, stuff like that, there's shows that just get such low ratings over here, but then it gets like more seasons and stuff, so they're not really saying anything because they're just enjoying it, which, I mean, I don't really have a big problem with it, because obviously I'm not such a judgmental person where it's like animation really bothers me a lot. But I mean, it just gets to the point where some things like, I don't know, Arjun, like I love the Arjun story, and I'm caught up now, by the way. But that animation is just unacceptable, honestly. Like, I mean, I can watch it because the story's so good, but if the story wasn't good, I would have dropped to episode 1 because that animation is pure garbage.
Oh, and yeah, what they did with what happened last spring. We're not going to get into that, though. But yeah, it really just comes down to budget issues.
Yeah.
I know that, when it comes to animation studios, they really don't have, a high budget, when it comes to pretty much a regular TV anime series, unless it's something like huge that's been planned for a long while. But, yeah, I don't want to say that the anime industry is dying per se, but I will say that it's not what it used to be. I will say that.
Right. But I think it's never going to have that same spark with people like the 90s. Like in general, every generation always has a kind of uprising change in its media. So like any type of, like for example, if you go Western stuff right now, Western things right now are the big thing is superhero stuff. Like all the TV shows are superheroes, all the movie stuff superheroes. That's this generation's kind of shtick. And then, maybe 10 years from now it'll be, or 10 or 20 years from now it'll be something else where maybe it's more sci-fi stuff again, or maybe horror stuff like that. That happens all the time. And I think anime right now is because it's transitioning into this the newer age of technology in terms of graphics, animations, all that. It's going to be that it's going to go through another shift. But right now, what we're getting is just a constant like drop of just mediocrity. I think because I really think that lately there hasn't been anything. I think I forget who said it exactly. Oh, Shonen Jack said this, where the feeling that you could touch a character or environment. I get what he means by that. Like the feeling that you actually can push forward and be like, I know I could see them and sense this anime. I could feel these characters. You don't really have that nowadays. You get cool stuff.
Yeah,
it's changed. It's changed a lot from what I've seen, because obviously I only got into anime like last year, whatever.
Right.
But from what I've seen from the old animes and stuff, it has changed a lot. And what you said about it won't hit the spark that it had back in the day, and I mean it probably won't, because I feel like probably back in the day a lot more people were less judgmental of different things like animation style and stuff. Nowadays you've just got haters on every single bloody thing that you see. And
social media is like crazy now.
It is insane. And like people voice their opinions a bit too much in terms of hating on others' opinions and stuff like that. You know, they'll just trash you until the day, I don't even know, the end. The trash you for liking a show till the end.
No, till you eventually leave and give up. And,
but I mean, I think it will get a bit better to what it is now, I'd say, but I don't think it will reach back in the day because people are too judgmental on too many things. Like, people just don't seem to watch anime for the enjoyment. They just watch it so that they can judge it or criticize it, whatever, just so that they can hate on it and hate on other people that do watch that show and like it.
This anime sucks. It doesn't have cool characters.
It just doesn't make sense. I mean, and in Japan, most of them just like what comes out, really. Right. I mean, there's just so many things that get second seasons that we're over here. We're just like, well, how?
Good. Yeah, wasn't like, good, or we don't like
how? But like, I think they're less judgmental, probably. And yeah, people just need to calm down on the hate. Okay, just calm it down a little bit.
I don't
simmer
think
down.
I don't think we can blame the industry too much, though. Like, looking back on it now, because like I said, the industry, it's not what it used to be back in the day, but like, I think like there was a recent article that ended up coming out. I'm pretty sure everybody has read this, or at least seen it, knows about it. That, even animators in Japan have even stated that, there's not enough people to go around, actually creating, these TV series, or, if there were a lot more people, they would actually be able to do a better job, and a lot of other shows would be executed a whole lot better, Well,
yeah, think about it. How many studios are first off well known that exist right now that, you can think of A1 Pictures right away. That's like one of the easiest ones to think. You can think of Studio Parrot, even though people hate Studio Parrot for the most part. Studio Dean, those, you can think of those people right up. Bones, Madhouse, etc. Those are the ones that pop into your mind like that. Like a snap of the fingers, you've already got those several in your head. But then the newer studios that come along, you're like, who are these people? And also to a point, I think it's almost for them, it's even harder in the industry now because, as soon as they make something right away, another company wants to buy it. Right away, it's like, oh, you know what? Let's buy this. It sounds actually pretty good, and they'll take it over, take off that whole studio, split them apart and stuff like that. And I think almost in a way that's kind of poisonous into society, because it's like anything else. When you have only a few businesses, you're always going to get that kind of wars between them, but more so you're going to get less originality and less of a thing, because they always want to play it safe. They want to be like one another. They'll be like, okay, well, we know this works because that company made it work. Let's try to go something similar to that route. And that's an issue. It really is.
And then there's fillers.
Stop
doing fillers. If you didn't do fillers, the show would be over quicker so that you could work on the next thing. Am I right? Well, do that. Just stop, please.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with Naruto, but Naruto's a good example when it comes to fillers.
Yeah, like the manga's done already. Like, how are you still doing fillers?
I mean, I know why they're doing it, but it kind of gives the anime a bad look, and it also prevents people from actually, going into the series to begin with. But I know why they're doing this. I mean, it's because of money, But Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Unless there's like a boom in people actually, wanting to move into the anime industry. I mean, just know that you're not going to be making a whole lot, but if
No.
there's like a boom in that, we'll eventually see, hopefully more complexity in our anime nowadays. But so far, from what we're seeing, it's mainly just the cheap stuff, and we get like one or two anime that are good to mention, like every year. So
I'm gonna go off of that. Just saying one thing real fast is that it's the concept of almost like Makoto Shinkai, for example, right? Is that I said this I think in a few casts ago, but with him pushing visual aspects further and making sure that visuals in just general his stuff look really great, it's gonna make other studios kind of follow suit. And our only hope is that studios keep pushing the boundaries of what they have, because if they do that, they can. It's not that just art is the only thing that matters. Like of course, other things matter, story, stuff like that too.
yeah.
But if they continue to push the bounds and they realize, what, we want to make something better and better, they will look for better stories to write, the better arts to go for, and stuff like that. And it kind of it bounds off one another. You need all those elements to make something better. But until then, we're always going to have this kind of. I think right now we're almost at a stagnation of stuff that comes out that's not. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad. You still enjoy the stuff coming out.
You've seen it before.
Exactly, you've seen it before. You've seen
nothing really original.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, yeah, like you said, there are things that there still are things that can be done, but it's like a once in a thing show. Like you don't really like Konosuba. Now when another show comes out that's like making fun of like being trapped in a game, sort of like Konosuba does, like it's a parody of it. You're gonna be like, oh, I saw that before.
I've seen it done better.
Yeah,
that's the first thing you think of right away, because you can compare the two.
And that's why it's kind of hard, like especially now, just because everything has been done, and back then it was all like new. It was all like, because really what ruled like early's animation was like Dragon Ball. 'Cause Dragon Ball came out in the 70s, 80s. You had like Astro Boy, you had shit like that. So like in the late 90s and all that, and maybe like even like late 80s into the 90s, like when technology began to like move ahead a little bit, they were experimenting, doing new things, and that's when you saw the shows like Bebop, Eva, Trigun, shit like that. That was you had like Saw.
It's
never been done, because all you had were these like old, shonen fighting shows, really, like these.
You know what's funny? Usama said this in the chat. He said, stuff like Keijo, for example. Keijo, like, as stupid as Keijo might be, it is the least original. Like, I hate to say it. As we've seen the first 2 episodes of Keijo, it's original. It's something different. It's stupid.
I never saw anything like Keijo.
Right, and the thing is, though, is that's the kind of stuff we need, actually, because we need that stuff to push into different territory that we're unfamiliar with, that people are afraid to do. As much as it might be stupid, it's you have to take that risk.
Yeah, I agree. Instead of using fan service as a sort of like comedic aspect, or fan service aspect, I guess that's another way to say it. I don't know.
Right.
It's mainly using fan service as a sort of like synopsis for how the show actually is, which is kind of interesting. So it's kind of like a reverse, or not reverse. What am I trying to say here? Help me out, Blade.
What? What?
It's basically making it's a show that is making fun of itself. I don't know if it makes
a parody, like a caricature.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the right word to say, but you guys know what I mean. It's basically not using fan service as just fan service. It's using its fan service as like the synopsis of how the show actually is.
Right.
That's what's different about the fan service that's being used in Keijo.
Yeah, when people hear fan service, they instantly think like, panty shots and opie and all that, but there's different types of fan service.
Because people forget fan service can, like you just said, dude. It's fan service can also be characters like that haven't appeared for a while, that are favorite characters and stuff like that.
Right. Like freaking Dragon Ball Super, they brought back Future Trunks. That's fan service.
Exactly. Yeah.
The death of Goku, they brought him back several times. That's fan service.
Yeah, because they know Goku is eccentric. You need.
It could be little things like just playing the opening over a fight scene. That's fan service.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or even like even with your mention of that, like where you have different openings, but then at the very last episode have the one that's like the most popular one, or that's fan service right there, because they know, hey, this one's the one that resonated with people the most. Let's throw that into the final one, even though they have some different opening now.
There's a lot of things you could say, like with Fate, like with the Fate series, like the sparks, the colorful ass sparks.
Oh yeah,
that would fly off and shit.
A limited budget work.
And all that shit, like that's fan service. Like there's a lot more to it than just what people think when they hear fan service. Because when that's the first thing people think, honestly, they think opie and panty shots,
like skirt shots,
because that's what's being used nowadays.
Right.
As fan service.
Well, that's what harems use nowadays.
The thing with things being like cliche and because I do think stuff is losing its spark now, but there are a few shows that have come along and like. They take the cliche and they either add twists and turns to it or they spice it up a bit. They don't go straight for the cliche,
Right.
And some shows, I mean, it can be cliche and still be enjoyable. Like My Hero Academia, like that show's cliche as hell. You saw a million types of those shows, but it's enjoyable. And there's a lot of things you can take from it compared to other shows of its genre that are better, a lot better.
Well, the shonen concept, because it does have a lot of shonen tropes and stuff like that, at least it in a way, it almost makes fun of itself. Like, for example, our main character, Deku, he's super powerful, yeah, but every time he punches something, his like hand immediately breaks. I think that's funny as hell, because it's almost in a way you're making fun of every series that has been shonen, because that's always a concept that they're very powerful, but either get hurt in the process or can't control their strength. But they know full well that, hey, that's what we're doing, and we're going with it because it's funny as hell and it works. And it does work.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So overall, I would say it is kind of losing its spark just because there's nothing really. I mean, there are things you can do that are original, but it's very rare to come across now just because everything's been done. And like everyone said, like you can have something look very, very good, but if you don't have, good character development, good plot progression going down and all that, and all the other things that add into a good show, then what's the point, really? I
mean, I don't think anime is gonna die anytime soon. Like, I always like people that say shit like that right away. And we've talked about this like 1,000,001 times on this channel. But it's just that anime is not dying. It's just eventually, if it continues down this road, it's a scary thought because it will lose popularity. Even in the country of its origin, it will lose popularity eventually. It's just a matter of time. It depends on if you can't have constant clones of stuff like shonen stuff coming out, for example, until finally someone goes, you know what, I've seen this before, and instead of watching it, turns it off, and then you have 30 other people that join that and a couple hundred, etc. So
yeah, anime was a mistake. Anyway,
Miyazaki said that best.
Miyazaki.
All right, so that's pretty much that. Then our second question topic thing is which type of endings do you prefer? Open-ended, etc. We'll start off with Blade.
Oh, I feel honored. So, for me, I mean, honestly, I prefer endings that have closure, because the thing is that I love when you can kind of imagine your own endings. Don't get me wrong, but I almost think that's in a way insulting, just for the sheer fact that almost anyone can imagine your own ending. So you can imagine that, for example, let's say like character A is a superhero. He's at the end, he's trying to save some girl, and then the screen closes, and you don't know if he fully saved that girl. It's up to your imagination now to figure out, oh, did he save the girl or not? Did she die, etc. And I kind of almost hate that because I want the closure. I want to know what happened. I'd rather have that. And at times, it's a double-edged sword because you do have the endings that are like, oh, wow, I wish that would have been better, or I could have made a better ending, because that's what people love to say right away. I could have did that ending better. I could have did this with that or that. But I just feel it's a stronger thing that when a writer goes, I'm gonna end it whatever way I want to freaking end it, I'm ending it that way because this is what I've envisioned for the beginning and conclusion of the story. It's. I mean, I'm not saying that a lot of anime nowadays don't even have endings, because I hate to say it, but a lot of stuff that's made for advertising manga and light novels, they get this kind of, oh yeah, if you want any more of the story, you better go buy the light novels or the manga. that's cool, but half the time, half of those things aren't even fully released in America, let alone even in Japan. So yeah, I'm not going to rely on now switching whole gears from animation to reading now. I mean, I love reading like anyone else, but that sucks to me, like going from one medium to another, because you're kind of forced to do it. So I prefer personally just closed ending, end the show. Even if I know with Full Metal Alchemist, one of the things that people hate about the first one is the whole different ending from the manga. Like they changed the whole thing. But in a way, I preferred that only to one degree, because at the time the manga wasn't even close to being done. It wasn't even like the beginning of its lifespan. It was like the third volume, I think, in Japan, or fourth volume. I was like, are we gonna have to freaking wait that long for an ending? Honestly, you know how well that turns out when half the time stuff ends manga-wise. It won't come back. It'll never come back. You'll see 12 episodes of a favorite series, then nothing. There'll be no second season, no conclusion, maybe an OVA or a filler movie, some type of thing like that, but you won't get an ending. So I prefer, hey, listen, we gave you a different type of ending. Later on, we did the whole series that was close to the manga that followed that adaptation better. But hey, I like endings. I want actual fucking ending with my show. Sorry. That's me, though.
I get you.
Yep.
I'd probably agree, honestly. Well, actually, it depends on the show. Say, like with Metal Alchemist, you go on, like, what if you have an ending and it's like, because after all you've been through, all the obstacles you've overcome, all the character development going on, just everything all around, and then when it comes to the ending of that certain show, especially it being a longer one, you want to see like closure to that journey, to that adventure, like just see how far everyone's came at the end, and what they've overcome and all that. And especially with a longer show, like I said, like it would kind of it sucks for me to be left off open-ended, or to have to think for yourself like what happens after that, and then most of the time having no hope of ever seeing what happens after that due to certain circumstances, whether there's just no more content to adapt, if that's how it really ended in the source material, or whatever the case may be. But I think with some shorter shows, it is all right sometimes for me to leave off open-ended, especially if there's more content, if there's more to the story, and in terms of like having to think what happens yourself, I don't see that as a bad thing, like you said, Blade. But sometimes, like, you really you want to see your characters and everything, and like I said, what they've been through and whatnot. You want to see that come to closure, especially like if they've been through a lot. Like with certain shows, like they do a tremendous job, like Hunter x Hunter. Even though it's not done yet, how it wrapped up, it felt like it was closure for me, honestly. Full Metal, how that left off, that was great. And those are just two shows out of a crap ton that like do a tremendous job of like just building up, so many characters, both main characters and side characters, and it puts them through all these trials and tribulations and all these obstacles they have to overcome. And then when you reach the end, you want to feel good in most cases, I'd say, because of what they've been through and everything. Sometimes that doesn't happen, but I'd probably say I'd want a closed ending. I wouldn't want an open ended. It can change though with like shorter shows. But yeah, that would probably be what I want to say.
Okay, I'm in agreement with that.
One thing actually I want to add.
What?
A thing that, because I want to use Alabama Zero as an example because of how season 1 left off. I don't know if I think I don't know if Miles or Travis have.
No.
Chat. Alabama Zero season 1's ending. Like I cannot even imagine being like a currently airing anime watcher and having to deal with that for season 2. So stuff like that kind of pisses me off. But
imagine didn't have a season 2. Oh my God.
Since I didn't watch Alabama Zero while it aired, I could just watch season 1 and go straight into season 2. So that wasn't as bad for me. But for certain currently airing shows, it pisses me off when they leave off open-ended like that, and then you gotta wait so long.
Yeah,
or you just have to wait for it. And like you said, some of those cases you have to go, if you want more, you have to go and read the source material, which some people don't like doing that most of the time.
No, and to add to that, they answer that really fast. I hate when shows then also like do like they promise by a trailer or something like that at the very end, going, "Oh, don't worry, we'll be back for season 2," and season 2 never happens. Like, don't even promise anything if you really don't intend to do a season 2. Please don't do it.
And sometimes certain things happen with certain studios that doesn't allow them to make more. Like with Man Globe, they went bankrupt. I guarantee there would have been a second season of Gangsta sometime if they weren't going through all those issues and problems with their studio.
When it comes to me, I prefer closed endings, just to branch off of what Blade and Memory went off of. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody wants a closed ending. They want everything to tie in together and just get closure from not the overall story, but also from the characters as well. From each and every character would be ideal. But I think Travis can agree with me on this. Like, when it comes to open endings, like I'm perfectly fine with that. But if you have like an open ending to where there's like a lot of questions in the story that you don't really know about, like, okay, man, Wonderland, it's going to be really hard on your. It's going to be very hard on your audience when it comes to that. They're gonna get pissed. They're not, and especially if some doesn't get closure for a certain amount of time that you've been expecting it. Like, for example, if a show comes out like, I don't know, a year from now, and then we don't hear about a season 2 for like 10 years or maybe not anything at all, honestly. Like, that stuff pisses me off a little bit when it comes to closed or open endings, because we might never get that, but now you have something like 91 days. Like, what? I mean, you can pretty much judge the show however you like it or not, but I think 91 days executed its final episode correctly when it came to the open ending, because it pretty much tied everything together. It just left you off with,
you have to think for yourself.
Yeah, you have to think with yourself when it comes to the ending. So regarding that fact, I like closed endings more. I would prefer to have closed endings. Open endings are fine, but they have to be done right.
I agree with that 100%.
You shouldn't have open endings where there's still a lot of questions and things that have to be answered and explained. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you have to finish it.
Yeah, like you said, 91 days. Like, it did a good job of doing that, even with the open ending. Like, it pretty much answered all its questions, and it wrapped it up well while leaving it open, and it makes the viewer think for themselves, like, is our main character alive, or is he still, or is he dead, Is he still alive, or is he dead? And that's where, like, I'd say it's a more rare thing for shows to do that, so I give props to 91 Days for that, honestly. Because in a certain situation like that, like, it's fun for the viewer to, like, think, and some people, it may kill them inside, because you're like, did Emilio die, or is he alive? Like, what the hell happened to him? Like, you want to know, but that's like the whole thing. That's like what they wanted you to think, and that's what they wanted you to do, and that's like how all of 91 Days was, honestly. Like, it was kind of like a game of cat and mouse, kind of. It was like, I don't know, it was something. But I'd say 91 Days is a rare, like, occurrence with an open ending like that. Mm-hmm. You don't really see that a whole lot, at least from the shows I've watched. I've watched a lot of shows, but not many have done it like that in particular. At least I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm just scared these days just watching a show, and it's just like, well, probably not going to get a second season of this.
Yeah.
It is scary watching some things like that. Like, I wish like short series, they could just do the 25 episodes that would conclude the series, instead of us being like, well, there's a first season, probably won't get a second one though.
Yeah,
Madhouse.
I get so pissed at that, especially when it comes to Spice and Wolf, man.
Dude, it's just like, if it's a short series, just do the amount of episodes that needs to be done to conclude it. Don't just be like, we're gonna do 11 episodes for this season. We might do a second season. I don't know. We might not.
No, we'll do a movie.
Come on.
We'll do a movie that sums up all 55 left episodes that we're supposed to do.
Yeah, like the freaking Cabinari shit and all the other shows that do that. Freaking compilation film.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
what's the point? I know it's for money, but
yeah, I mean, honestly, like there's like Dead Man Wonderland where they don't even adapt it right, first of all, and then they just end it off of that, like sitting on the roof or something, and that was it. Like, what? What? I want to see what happens here. Like, you go from that to reading, as Blade and whatever said. It's just not as enjoyable. Like, I enjoy reading the manga of Dead Man Wonderland, but it's just like I have to reread it because they didn't even adapt it correctly. So it's just like, well, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Don't. Why? Come
No,
on.
it goes back to what Miles said earlier about the whole making money thing. They know they want to make money that way, and that's
just got to end the damn thing, dude. Yeah. Just read them up. They probably don't even read the manga. They just see the pictures, be like, "Oh, well, that looks good enough to me. That's fine."
Dude, you know what? I'll be honest with you. I think with a lot of stuff, especially for example, Taboo Tattoo, because I read some of the manga for that.
Right.
And there's a very big difference between the stuff that you see and the stuff that it seems like it's on air. It's like, what?
Yeah.
I think almost to a point they read realistically, they read the first 2 volumes and they go, oh, okay, we got this. Make 5 episodes dedicated to that, and then go, well, you know what? Fuck, we don't have any more stuff. What are we gonna do? I don't know. Just start putting magical unicorns there.
You just ask the people who made it, and then you're just like, so why didn't you adapt this correctly? I was like, well, I mean, we scanned the manga. I thought that was good enough. we didn't actually read it, but we just went over it a little bit, and then we just done what we saw.
We wanted to ask the director, but we couldn't get a hold of him on the weekend, so we stopped trying. We're like, whatever.
That's why you got to give like a lot of props to those like creators, directors, and all that like go panel by panel, and they literally like My Hero Academia. Like the first season, that was like a panel by panel literally adaptation. Like it was like spot on.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I like, especially with anime live action movies and stuff like that. That's why they tend to fail so horribly, because they tend to go, okay, director, is it okay we make this movie? And they go, yeah, sure. We're gonna have these characters in it. Is that okay? Yeah, sure. Okay, bye. And they just like do whatever the fuck they want with it. Case in point, Attack on Titan live action movie, which is a travesty. It is.
My God.
It is.
My.
Oh,
bad, man.
I watched that.
So bad.
Oh,
travesty, man. Fuck. Like,
it was terrible.
It could have been good.
It's between Eren and Mikasa.
Well, I liked how they were boyfriend and girlfriend at the beginning. I thought that was kind of cool.
Like,
I'm like, oh,
let's just leave the best character out. That seems like a good idea, huh?
All right, have them change completely from what they were like. Oh, good idea too.
Dude, it's so stupid.
Hey, that's cool. Let's also change the whole freaking story element, and let's make it so it's like the manga sort of, but not. Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, awful movie. Never watch it. Do not watch it.
I unfortunately have already.
Do not watch it.
I can't say
but yeah, I think that's it for that one. And now, last and final
virtual reality.
Virtual reality anime games, a good thing or a bad thing? And what type of games would be cool like that? We will start off with Memory, if he knows it. The answer to this.
Virtual reality. What was the question specifically again?
Oh boy.
Is it a good thing or a bad thing? And what type of games would be cool, as in virtual reality?
All right, so obviously virtual reality is like sort of new. It's newer.
Newish.
What games do they even have any games? I'm pretty sure Sword Art Online.
Sword Art Online is getting a game. They showed how great that's going to be, by the way. Oh my god, I want to play it.
Hell yes.
Now, I don't know. I'm a person who I honestly probably wouldn't. I mean, it would be cool to try out, but I think it wouldn't be as good as like it
Real
looks like
Sword Art?
it sounds good, but I think when you actually play it and do it, I don't think it's gonna be all what it's hyped up to be.
Yeah,
That's like any new thing, though. Any new piece of technology is kind of like that.
I do think virtual reality is fun. I haven't tried it, but it looks fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably enjoy it. I mean, everyone obviously wants. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it is expensive. It is expensive, and everyone who's watched Sword Art Online would love to try out a nerve gear.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, whether that would happen in the next 50 years, I have no idea. But it would be fantastic. Honestly, I don't think I'd do anything else with my life if that came out. But I don't do anything with my life anyway. So.
But like saying if it's a good or a bad thing, I don't think it's a bad thing by any means.
Oh, it's definitely a good thing.
Yeah, I'd say it's a good thing because I mean, with the VR, and with Sword Art Online, for example, because that's the big one that people have been talking about. Like, that's just going to bring more people into SAO. It's going to bring more people into anime. So I mean, it's not a bad thing at all. Because you may have those people who want to try out this virtual reality shit, and Sword Art Online, they're going to come across Sword Art Online somehow, maybe. And maybe they've never watched Sword Art Online before. They've never watched a freaking anime before. They're just trying out the virtual reality shit, and they're like, oh, this is pretty cool. I want to see what this is based off of,
Yeah, but you know what the first thing people are going to do right away is going to be like, I wonder if I can look up Leafa's thing down there. That's the first thing right away. Dude.
Oh, dude, trust me, they're already making games for that.
You have no idea. I'm not even joking. So when PlayStation VR came out, right? I heard on various forums, people's first thing that they want to do with the Hatsune Miku game that came out, or I think it's even more so, it's not even a game, but it's something that has Hatsune Miku in it, is the first thing people were talking about was, oh, I wonder if I could look up her skirt and go up different angles. And they were trying, dude, telling people they were trying to do that.
Well, I mean, I'm not really surprised with this generation.
I'm not surprised either, but the thing is, it's like, come on, man. Virtual reality is supposed to be cool, and all people are thinking about it is like, oh, man. Go get a girlfriend. Do shit like that.
I mean, it's whatever. Yeah. I mean, virtual reality is just a cool little invention, and it's gonna, get increasingly good as time goes on.
It's gonna keep building onto it and working on it, making it
whether we see some type of nerve gear in the future, it will probably have. I mean, I don't really think anything like that will happen. Because you have to control. You have to get this machine on your head, and it goes into all your nerves and whatnot. What? How the frick are you gonna do?
Imagine how many people are gonna just be in that environment for so long.
Years of research to be able to do that.
Nobody would leave your house.
There's probably people researching it now, trying to see if they know how to do it. There's probably people researching it now that are trying to work on this for years in the future. Which, I mean, it is years of research trying to get some machine to control your body while you're put your body out while you go into the game and be able to see and control this character that you're playing as, But whether we see that or not, probably not in our lifetime, in my opinion.
I don't think it will be in our lifetime. Though.
And what I would say,
might be.
What types of game would be cool like that? I think Gundam. I think Gundam would be sweet.
Oh my god, yeah.
Piloting your own mech and flying around, destroying other mechs, that would be sweet.
I'll be honest with you, anything that has anything that I could fight in, pretend I'm fighting something, maybe fist fighting or
any
sword fighting.
Any action type of thing, anything.
I want to be Kirito, okay? I'll start off being super OP, and then I'll get even better, and then I'll have a hair.
I would absolutely love. I'll tell you what, I would love a One Piece virtual reality game. That'd be sick. in the whole world of One Piece, and you're like,
you
like when you go into the game, you choose what fruit you want to have, so you can have that certain power.
Yeah,
and then you go and level that power up and get new abilities and stuff like that. That'd be sick. I'd love that. And same with Hunter x Hunter as well. You know, get a different type of Nen, do your own abilities, stuff like that. Would be sick.
And the worlds of those are just so expansive.
Dude,
Yeah,
you guys are missing the lost potential though. Data Live movie as a game you play, try to get all your favorite harem girls and shit together.
No, there's actually a game. I shit you not. In the virtual reality, there's actually a game. I forget like what publishing company is doing it, but they are actually making a game, and it's not from Japan, mind you, but they're making this thing that looks like, I don't even want to say what it is, but it's basically a game in which you can penetrate virtual girls. It's weird.
Boy.
It's weird.
I'm not surprised, dude.
It's
I'm
weird.
really
I will link you to that at the end of this podcast.
Oh god!
But I shit you not, like that's what they're doing, and yeah, like what Shonen Jack said right there. Every new advancement can I pocket.
Jesus Christ!
I mean,
I'm not surprised. Again, I'm really not surprised.
I'm never
No, I'm
surprised.
not
coming
surprised either.
Yeah, I mean, virtual reality is a good thing. People need to calm down with their different ideas. With what Professor said, what's been created now, just simmer down a little bit. We don't need that, but you know, it's definitely a good thing. And what I said, you know, One Piece game, Hunter x Hunter, all the different big worlds in anime, you know, One Piece world, stuff like that, right? That'd be cool to just explore, kind of free roam type thing. Free roaming games are just so fun anyway. So just having a free roaming game in, you know, something like a One Piece world or something like that.
I would love to be the real Black Swordsman.
Being in Keijo.
Being Keijo.
Dude, a Keijo virtual reality game would be sick.
Dude, we're talking no. We're talking about the current virtual reality. So you have to have a headset on, and you're actually moving. So you've got to have like some glass or something.
Swing your ass around.
dude, you're like home alone. You're like home alone, and then your parents just walking like, what are you doing?
Nothing.
I'm just fighting. I'm just fighting.
Butt cannon, freaking shoot.
But this is a legit sport, though.
But you can have those opie in your face.
But this is a legit sport, though. What are you talking about? Legit sport. It's serious.
I mean, I thought I looked weird when I was playing that freaking like PlayStation 2 iToy thing back in the day.
Oh my god!
Cleaning the damn windows. But yeah, definitely a good thing. Definitely a good thing.
Like what Travis said.
Should we like take questions or just end it here or what?
Yeah, we could take questions if you guys have any. I don't know if
we'll take like one or two questions if there is any, or we'll just end it because we've been going for like, I don't know, 50 minutes or something like that.
Almost 50 minutes. Almost 50 minutes.
Yeah, we won't go too in depth, but
these are topics that you know have depth, but we've already basically hit everything about them. So
yeah.
All I know, man, is I know for a fact that if we are
Shelter real quick.
What?
Are we saving that for another podcast?
What? The poll thing?
Talking about Shelter.
Oh, Shelter. Oh, we can talk about Shelter real fast, I guess. I don't have an issue with that.
We should say that for the next one.
Yeah, I guess because we didn't put that in the title. Yeah, never mind. We can talk about it next week with the when we talk about the first.
We can probably be next week. So talk about that with that.
Yeah.
If
you haven't, but I'll say right now, if you ever checked out Shelter, what are you doing? It's 6 minutes. Go check out Shelter. 6 minutes. It's awesome. The first time you watch it, it's awesome. Second time, it's okay still.
Well, the song's good all the time.
I'm the person that
repeats songs constantly. Like, if I find a good song one day, then I'll listen to that for like 2 days straight without listening to another song. So.
No, I'm not saying like it's bad. Like, that's it. I'm thinking of it more so it loses kind of impact. Like the song's great. The song's great all the way through. I have no issue with that because I love that type of music. But I'm just saying, like, actually watching the animation again and again kind of like goes, oh, okay, I've seen this before. But still awesome. Go check it out.
Behind the scenes video is quite entertaining to watch as well.
Do you know what I loved about the behind the scenes, by the way, for that? I love how they're talking about, like, he's like, oh man, I really loved working with this company. You know, A1 Pictures is really great. And they're like, yeah, when Peter joined us, we were like, oh man, we're gonna have some difficulties. he was definitely taking us a different direction. And he's like, "Oh man, this studio is so helpful and so great." He was really hard because we were trying to figure out what he wanted exactly. Like,
so we talking about Shocker or not?
What did you say?
We're saving it for next week.
Right, looks like no questions. So I guess we'll end
no
on
questions.
No, we have no questions.
Thanks for everyone who came along, and thanks for watching. If you're watching the playback thing or whatever the frick it's called,
thank you for coming through. Yeah.
It's been another good podcast. So Habit should be back next week. So the new layout that I made, if you haven't all seen it, we got a new layout and everything.
Everyone should clap for you, man. Come on, clap. Come on.
Yeah, I've basically worked on that almost all day. So yeah, that's. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but getting the right stuff together was, getting it to look right.
You'll see it all next week.
Yeah, you'll see it all next week. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next week.
Adios.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Adios.
Bye-bye.